Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we will be taking a quick look ahead to the upcoming month of November to see what we can see in the sky. Of course, as I have mentioned in a few of the recent videos when we were discussing comets and the supernova or nova that was supposed to occur in September, predicting the future is difficult. Sometimes some objects are reasonably easy to predict. Venus will be visible as the sun is setting, at least in the early part of November. We have Saturn with us, and later in the night, Jupiter will rise. We know when the new moon is going to occur, and we know that there is a meteor shower coming up in November as well. However, some things are more difficult to predict. The weather, of course, is one of them, which is why we always ignore the weather for these shows. We will look at a perfectly clear sky, even if November can occasionally be cloudy. So we're here still nice and early in the night on the 1st of November. The summer triangle is now definitely over towards the southwest, so it'll be setting earlier and earlier as we come up to midwinter. Saturn is still nice and high in the sky. It will only rise earlier and earlier as we get through November, and there comes Jupiter as well, here at only 7:45. Jupiter is still a little bit low in the sky, but it will get higher. We've got the square of Pegasus there, with the Andromeda galaxy also nice and high in the sky very early in the evening. Even if you are in the city, the Andromeda galaxy can be seen through telescopes and binoculars. You just won't be able to see it with the naked eye. Continuing forward, as we push towards morning time, Jupiter will be joined by Mars. There we go. Here at just 10:30. So Mars is definitely getting up into the sky before midnight. Here we are at 11 o'clock, and Mars should be above a lot of buildings and trees if you have a reasonably clear sky. There's the constellation of Orion. Of course, Uranus will be somewhere over here near the Pleiades or the Seven Sisters, which are a little faint from the city, but still definitely visible. Continuing to push on towards morning time, we won't get another planet just yet. Mercury will be coming back into our sky in November, but in the evening time and a little bit later in November as well. Leo is still nice and clear there. The sickle of Leo is well above the horizon before the sun rises in the morning, and the sunrise will happen pretty much under the plough. As the plough starts to get higher in the sky, there we go, there comes the sunrise, and things begin to disappear. But here we are at almost 7 o'clock, not quite 7 o'clock, still only on the 2nd of November. And Sirius, the brightest star, Jupiter, not the brightest planet, but one of the brighter objects, and Mars, they're still visible there a little before 7 o'clock on the 2nd of November. But if we move forward just a bit, 15th, the middle of November, there we go. Sirius will set as things get brighter, so Sirius will get more difficult to see. But Jupiter and Mars, Jupiter certainly, still there at 7:30 in just the middle of November. If we come back a little bit closer to 7 o'clock, there we are, 7:20. We'll say 7:15, just to be careful. And there's Sirius, very low in the sky. But Mars and Jupiter are still certainly visible, nice and clear above the horizon. And now that we've come around to the middle of the month, there's the moon, nice and big. I'm sure it's close to full, but I will need to double check if it is truly full. So let's take a closer look. 98.6%, not quite full enough. There we go, 99.9%, and this is before midnight on the 15th. I'll see if we can get it up to 100%. Of course, sometimes the moon is 100%. There, it went down to 99.8%, so we'll need to go back to see it at 100% full, if we get to see it at 100% full at all from here in Ireland. It looks like we do not. But the moon will be very close to 100% full when it rises here on November, and it is 360,000 kilometers away. So it is still, coming down. It is close to a supermoon. There we go. Less than 360,000 kilometers away. So given how many full moons have been counted as supermoons lately, there's a very good chance that this November moon will be referred to as a supermoon as well. It's going to be very close to Uranus and the Pleiades here. It may cause an occultation of Uranus, and we can check that if we head out to the countryside. But before we do, we're going to come back to sunset just at the right time to get Venus in the sky. There we go. So we can see Venus there is brighter than Saturn. It is certainly easier to see. Mercury should come into the evening sky as we get a little bit later in the month, but we may need to get rid of some of these bushes to see it. In there, we're all the way through to December. So here, very end of November, and Venus is nice and clear, really bright. Saturn is visible just a little after 5 o'clock. In fact, Venus is probably going to be visible early as 5, and there's Jupiter coming into the sky as the sun goes down as well. So once we're through to the end of the month, here we are, not even 6 o'clock. And we've got 3 planets, 4 if you count Uranus, which would be up over there somewhere, all visible, and the sky is nice and dark this early. We can also see if we face south, the summer triangle's definitely gotten a little bit further to the west there. It's not too different from how we saw it at the beginning of the month, but at the beginning of the month, we were looking at it much later at night. The sunset is getting earlier, so even if the summer triangle appears to be in roughly the same place at sunset, it will be closer to the west for a given time if we were to keep the time the same. There comes Mars at just a little after 9 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, it will be at more than an observable height in the sky for a telescope. And we'll speed quickly through to the morning here at the end of the month. I believe we might see the moon, although it may be too close to new for us to see even as a crescent. Yeah, the moon is pretty much going to be back in front of the sun at the end of the month. So from here, we'll pop out to the countryside, and we may head back to the full moon before we take before we do more hunting for Mercury. So let's come back here to the night of the full moon. There we go, 99.9% full, and we will pop out to the countryside. Of course, Uranus is, once you zoom in, Uranus will be revealed, even from a city sky. In Stellarium and in real life, this is the case. But with a dark sky like this, there we go, Uranus is highlighted automatically by Stellarium. So it doesn't look like there's an occultation. It looks like the moon is just a little too high in the sky for that. And we can see it probably would occult the Pleiades, possibly from a different location on Earth. So let's see if we can follow them. Oh, once the full moon leaves your field of view in Stellarium, the software in Stellarium will assume that the moon is just gone once it's out of your field of view if you're zoomed in too much. So the effect of that extra light will go away. We are getting closer and closer to the Pleiades here. They just go under the horizon. Let's come back a little bit. No, not quite. So the moon and the Pleiades aren't going to have an occultation for here in Ireland, but later in November, when we get a little bit closer to the full moon, I can check to see if the occultation would be visible from anywhere else on Earth. Let's bring that back, move forward just in case I missed it. Going behind a tree, of course, it is a perennial issue with this landscape in Stellarium. So let's get rid of the ground. In a moment's time, we will get rid of the atmosphere as well, just to help us look for Mercury. Not quite. We're not going to get that occultation from here in Ireland, but somewhere on Earth will. We'll come back to a time when the moon was 99.9% full, a little bit close to the full moon first rising, and we'll take a closer look here. It's so close to full. You can just about see a little bit of unevenness there on one side of the moon, but it's so close to 100% full. Not exactly, but in the case of observing the moon, it's not going to make too much of a difference. A tiny bit either side of absolutely full is still going to look very bright, very impressive. Let's come around to daytime. There we go. And we'll get rid of the atmosphere so that we can see Mercury. So we'll need the sun to come down there, and we'll move through time a little bit just to see if Mercury... Oh, that's about its greatest elongation there. So if our sky is perfectly clear, you still won't get to see Mercury. So the angle is still a little bit too extreme for us here in Ireland. The sky is only dark enough for Mercury to be visible when it's under our horizon. But you can see it is pretty far from the sun here. So the reason we're not seeing Mercury, and it does happen a lot in Ireland, the reason we're not seeing Mercury is the angle of the ecliptic. If you were living closer to the equator, Mercury would indeed be visible. So let's get up our meteor showers and have a look for the Leonids, which radiate from the constellation Leo, hence the name. So we will need to move around to morning time to go, well, not even morning time. We're still a little bit before midnight here. These are the Leonids. We will have a look through a couple of dates. Yeah, the maximum on the 17th, which does unfortunately bring the moon right up to full, right up there in the sky. So even though the zenith hourly rate could get as high as 20, and the local rate here is assuming about 13. That might change over the course of the night. It's going down, so that's not great. We'll go back a day, and it is a little higher. We're getting up to 4 to 17 there at the right time of the night. Early in the morning may be a good time to look for the Leonids this year, but that bright full moon is still going to do a lot of well, it'll hinder our ability to see the meteors quite a lot. The Leonids are the meteor shower that can give outstandingly high rates, the highest ever recorded, but it's not incredibly likely that we're going to get that this year. So that brings us through the November sky. Those are some of the main points. Even though we won't get to see Mercury clearly from here in Ireland, we will take a closer look at it once the greatest elongation is reached a little bit later, and we will take a closer look at the potential occultation. I'm interested to see where that's visible from. So if you'd like to see those videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you'll be made aware when those videos come out. And if you enjoyed this video, please do like it. You can also read a little bit of this information on my website, queevinscontent.ie, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.